The wine glass shattered on the hardwood floor, its deep red content spreading like spilled blood beneath the chandelier's dim glow. Sarah's laughter cut off mid-breath, her eyes darting nervously to the frozen faces around the dinner table. Friends, neighbors, their smiles stiffened into masks. Her husband, David, sat rigid, knuckles white around his fork, the metal catching the light as if it could slice through the tension. "It was just a joke," Sarah stammered, her voice thin, unraveling like a thread. "Swapping husbands, like one of those silly reality shows." But the room felt off, the air heavy with an unspoken weight, as though her words had cracked open a truth no one was ready to confront. The evening had begun innocently. Their cozy dining room, walls painted sage green and lit by flickering candles, hummed with warmth. The scent of roasted garlic and rosemary from the lamb mingled with the tang of Merlot. Sarah had spent hours preparing, eager to impress their new neighbors, Claire and Tom, who'd recently moved in across the street. David, ever the charming host, kept the conversation light, worked stories, travel anecdotes, the familiar rhythm of suburban politeness. But as the second bottle of wine dwindled, Sarah's playful quip about swapping spouses for a weekend landed like a stone in still water. Claire's smile faltered, her eyes flicking toward Tom, who coughed into his napkin. David's fork paused midair, his jaw tightening in a way Sarah hadn't seen since their last argument. She tried to laugh it off, her heart hammering in her chest. "Come on, guys." "I didn't mean it," she said, but her voice sounded hollow, even to her. Claire opened her lips, but no words came. Tom stared at his plate, fingers drumming a nervous rhythm. David pushed back his chair. The scrape against the floor sounded like a scream in the quiet. "I need some air," he muttered, disappearing toward the back door. Sarah's stomach twisted. Something was wrong. The room felt tilted, walls closing in, candlelight throwing shadows that danced like secrets. In the kitchen, alone with the dirty dishes, she replayed the moment. Had her words been too bold, too reckless? She'd always prided herself on wit, on keeping things lively. David loved that, didn't he? But his reaction, eyes darkened, not with anger, but something closer to fear, spoke volumes. She poured herself another glass of wine, the liquid trembling in her hand. The back door creaked open. David stepped inside, pale under the porch light. "We need to talk," he said softly, voice low, wary as if the walls were listening. They sat in the empty living room, the guests gone, the house too quiet. The couch felt cold beneath Sarah, leather creaking as she shifted. David avoided her eyes, staring instead at the silver-framed photo of their wedding day on the coffee table. "What's going on?" she asked, throat tight. "You've been acting weird all night. It was just a stupid joke." He exhaled sharply, hands clenching into fists. "It's not the joke, Sarah. It's everything." Her pulse quickened, cold sweat prickling her skin. "What do you mean, everything?" He paced, shadows stretching across the rug. "I saw the way Tom looked at you, like he knew something." Sarah frowned, confusion clouding her thoughts. "Knew what, David? You're not making sense." He stopped, turning to face her, eyes stormy with something she couldn't name. "I saw you two last week at the coffee shop." Laughing, touching his arm. "You didn't see me, but I was there." Her heart sank, stone-heavy. She remembered a chance encounter at the cafe while grabbing her latte. They'd chatted, neighborhood gossip, the weather, nothing serious. Did she touch his arm? Maybe absent-mindedly, while animatedly telling a story. But David's words twisted it into something sinister. "David, it was nothing," she said, voice rising. "You're blowing this out of proportion." But his eyes held quiet accusation, making her chest ache with doubt. Was he jealous? Or was there something else he wasn't saying? Over the next days, the house felt like a minefield. David's silences carried unspoken questions. Sarah found herself scrutinizing every glance, every pause. The way he lingered on his phone at night, the glow illuminating his face, the way he flinched when she touched him, as if her hands carried a current he couldn't bear. She tried to bridge the gap, cooking his favorite meals, suggesting movie nights, but her efforts felt like shouting into a void. The more she reached, the more he withdrew, until she began to wonder if she was betraying him by doubting his love. Then came the text. Late at night, her phone buzzed on a nightstand, Screen lighting the bedroom. A message from Claire. We need to talk. It's about Tom and David. Sarah's breath caught. Her fingers trembled as she typed back. What's going on? Claire's response came immediately, off text. Meet me tomorrow, the park. 10 a.m. Sarah lay awake, words burning behind her eyes. David slept beside her, steady breaths masking a stranger's presence. The park was crisp, autumn leaves crunching beneath her feet, air sharp with damp earth. Claire sat on a bench, scarf wrapped tightly, face pale. I didn't want to believe it, she whispered. But Tom's been different, secretive. And I found something. She pulled out her phone, showing Sarah a photo, a hotel receipt dated 2 months ago, a place neither had mentioned. He said he was at a work conference, Claire said, voice trembling. But I called his office. There was no conference. Sarah's mind reeled. Pieces clicked together. David's late nights, client dinner excuses, the phone he'd started locking, something he'd never done in 10 years of marriage. David was with him, she whispered, the words tasting like ash. Claire nodded, tears spilling down her cheeks. I think they've been meeting together. The word hung heavy between them, impossible. Sarah sank onto the bench, knees giving out, the world tilting around her. Back home, she confronted David, voice shaking with rage and heartbreak. Tell me the truth, she demanded, holding up the receipt. What were you doing with Tom? David's face crumpled, not with guilt, but with a strange relief, as if a dam had broken. It's not what you think, he said, voice low. We weren't cheating. Not like that. He sank into a chair, hands trembling. Tom's been helping me. I'm in trouble, Sarah. Debt, bad investments. I didn't want you to know. The confession hit like a wave, relief and betrayal crashing together. Not an affair, but a secret just as devastating. He had hidden a part of himself, built a wall of lies, perhaps to protect her, perhaps to protect himself. Why didn't you tell me? She cried, tears streaming. I'm your wife. David's eyes were hollow. I was ashamed. I thought I could fix it. And Sarah realized the crack in their marriage wasn't just a secret. It had started long before the dinner table joke.